Hey loves, it's Muriel. I'm getting ready to get out for a minute. This is a work day, of course. Yes, it's a work day. And I'm actually going out into the field to see a few people. I primarily work from home, but I do have a few clients that I see in person. And I have a couple of patients that I visit at their home. So on the days that I'm going out for work, I don't generally do a lot of makeup. I just do a few things to basically cover my dark areas. I don't feel like I need a lot of makeup. I'm actually going to take care of people, so for my purposes, I don't need a lot. And makeup is expensive, so for me it's a little bit of a waste. I do like to look nice for my patients, but I don't need a full face like if I'm going to an event or to church. So I just do a little bit just to kind of even out my skin and make sure that I am a little bit covered. So I wanted to talk with you a little bit as I get ready, because I've had a few folks to ask, well, what do you do? What is it that you do? I work in hospice. I am a chaplain and bereavement counselor. When I'm at home, I'm doing my bereavement counseling work because we do that virtually. And I do go in to see some people. Like I said earlier, I do see some, had a little extra left, I didn't want it to dry. Some folks face to face. And I have a few patients, I have a few ladies, as a chaplain, I have a few patients that I see. And when I transitioned to this new role as a bereavement counselor through their hospice journey, I used to go into nursing homes and assisted living facilities, but I don't do that anymore. And I also traveled quite a bit. Traveled because with hospice, a hospice can provide support or care to individuals within a 50-mile radius of the home base. So I would travel up to 50 miles to see some of my patients and families. And it was actually fun being on the road. Got your independence. I set my own schedule as long as I got my work done between 8 and 5. But I determined where I went, who I went to see, on what days. And generally I would work that out with family members. If I'm going to a home, I would try to find out what worked best for that family. Sometimes families want the entire team to come because you've got a nurse that goes weekly, you have a social worker, chaplain, and sometimes they're also getting CNA services. And sometimes they say, I don't want all these people coming in my house at different times. Can everybody come on the same day? So they'll tell me what time they want me to come, and I oblige. Most times with the facilities, it's just whatever time you want to visit, and I try not to go around times that they're eating breakfast, lunch, or in activity. Sometimes it hasn't worked out that way, and if they're in an activity, I'll go and participate in the activity with my patient. sit with them, enjoy with them, spend that time with them. So, as a chaplain, my goal is to help the patient and the family as they respond to their end of life prognosis. For my training, my goal is not to go in and get them saved and for them to deal with issues of salvation. If that's what they desire, then that is what I will do. But I take my cue from them and do what they want versus what I think they should have or need. Sometimes I have people who say, you know what, I'm not Christian, I'm not anything, and I'm not interested in talking about that. But I would love for you to come by and visit and spend time with me. And I do. I go and I visit with them. Some of them I get to, I don't know what. Oh, I thought that was mascara. That's eyelash glue. Lord, what am I doing? Am I out of mascara? And those are the best times because I really get to know them as people, not as patients, but I get to know their humanity. I get to learn about their history because, you know, if I go in a home or sometimes in a nursing home and I see pictures of the person from their youth, I don't have any mascara. How did I do that? I threw the one that I've been using for the last couple of days. I threw it out a couple of days ago, but I thought that I had another one in here, but I don't. But anyway, you know, you see their pictures. You see their pictures of when they got married and their children, and you see pictures of their life history. But we don't know them. We don't know them. And sometimes they're not in a position to tell us, you know, depending on what their medical diagnosis is. They may not be able to talk and tell us. But when I can listen to them, listen to their stories and their histories, it is really great to really learn about people and to be able to step into their world, if you will. And sometimes with the elderly, and it's not just the elderly, because I've had patients in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, on up to over 100. Sometimes they just need somebody to listen, need somebody to talk to, want to see a fresh face, someone to engage them. And I enjoy doing that. And if they want to talk about God, I'm willing. And if they don't, then I won't. It's about them. It's about their needs. Yes, it is my desire that they all be saved because I am a believer in the Word of God. And that is the Word, is that God would that not one of us be lost. And so I would love to see all of them saved, but I have to respect their needs, their desires, their journey. I'll tell you what, I had a patient once, and we had so much fun together. He was over 100. I don't know, it was 100 and maybe 4, 5, 6, something like that. But his mind was sharp. He had a beautiful voice. He had sang with the Rat Pack back in Miami, so many, many moons ago. And he told me that he grew up in a Pentecostal household, but that none of that stuff made sense to him. And so he chose not to believe in God. He believed that when you die, that's the end. There's no heaven, there's no hell. He said all that stuff, streets paved with gold, doesn't make sense to me. So he said, you can visit, but we won't talk about that. I said, great, fine. So I visit with him. Had great visits. But one day I thought, let me just try. And so he told me, he said, hey, if you're going to visit, we're going to be friends. That's what he said. We're going to be friends. We're not going to do that. So we never did. However, on his deathbed, I kind of crossed that line once again. And I said, are you sure? And he looked at me and he smiled. He said, I'm willing to take my chances. And so I had to respect that his decision, that that's what he desired for himself. He was okay with it, and I had to be okay with it. I'm telling you, I have met some very interesting people. I have spent time with some really good people. And hospice has really been a blessing. And I'll tell you what, I've always been a little bit, sometimes outgoing, sometimes not so outgoing. I've been kind of in the middle with that. But hospice helped me to learn to, or I won't even say hospice, I'll say chaplaincy. Helped me to learn to be comfortable in different settings, to be comfortable with what I bring to the table, to be comfortable with who I am at the table, and help me to accept that what I bring to the table is valuable, whether you think so or not. And so it really has been a blessing to me. As I have worked with these families, I have grown in my ministry as well. So today, I'm going out to see one little lady who won't open the door. So I know this visit is not going to take place because she won't open the door for me. Her family wants me to visit, but she won't open the door. So I have to do my due diligence and at least show up. And I will meet one person at the office for grief counseling. Ooh, my nails seem so brittle. It's pulling my hair. For grief counseling. And then I have one client that I will meet via FaceTime because she is not, via Zoom because she is not feeling well. So instead of her coming in, we're going to meet virtually, and that way she can still get the support that she needs. Boom. My workout fits are really simple. Because of the type of work I do, I stick to wash and wear slacks. JCPenney. Wash and wear. Black, blue, brown, gray. I can wash them. I can put on a top, put my jewelry on, and I look decent. I'm not trying to get dressed up to go in somebody's house who might have fleas, who might have bed bugs, who might have urine on the chair, whatever, you know, cat hair, dog hair everywhere. I'm not trying to get dressed up for that. So I want to be presentable professional, but something that I can actually throw in the washer and be okay with that. I've had to go in homes sometimes where when I came back, I made sure that that was my last visit of the day, because the building or the home was, let's say, not that clean. And so I would go and see them, make that my last client of the day. And when I get home, I pull into my garage and I take those clothes off, and they immediately go in the washer. They don't go in my dirty clothes hamper. No, they go in the washer. So, I'm heading out. I'll chat with you guys really soon. Again, I'm just wearing a pair of black slacks, and I put on this jewelry. I'll put on my watch and a little bracelet or something. And I wear shoes with open back mules because I have problems with my feet, so that's a little better for me with all the walking. So I'll put those on, and I will see you when I see you. Have a good day.